Come into the scary world of the haunted trading company, where there is darkness everywhere and ghosts walk the halls. What mysteries are tucked away inside its walls? Come with us on a trip full of supernatural rumors, scary experiences, and the never-ending search for the truth in a world full of fear. Get ready to go deep into the heart of darkness, where the difference between real life and a nightmare is fuzzy and the cost of being curious might be too high for anyone to bear. Are you ready to find out the scary secrets that are waiting for you? Welcome to Eerie Encounters and Hauntings. We are thrilled to have you join us for 2 new spine-tingling tales of the paranormal each week, stories that will make you shiver with fear and keep you on the edge of your seat. From haunted houses to possessed objects, we have the most bone-chilling tales of the supernatural. Get ready for a terrifying journey into the unknown with our bone-chilling episodes featuring blood-curdling stories that will send shivers down your spine. So hit that like button, share the horror with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. This story will make shiver and fright. This is entitled The Sinister Secrets of the Haunted Trading Company. This was shared by Koi from Ord. Let's get started. The trading company was in the middle of the city, on a lonely street, and stood out against the dark night. Its halls were filled with whispers of the supernatural, and stories of restless souls made their way around every turn. People who were brave enough to stay late often got chills when they heard a woman laughing in the second-floor offices that were empty. But when they looked into it, there was never anyone there. The spinning chairs moved on their own, as if pushed by hands that couldn't be seen. The flickering shadows were scary. And the computers, which were turned off and quiet, would suddenly start up, giving off a strange glow even though no one had touched them. At first, the workers thought that these strange events were just coincidences. It was hard for their logical minds to accept that something more sinister might be going on in their workplace. But as the events kept happening, more often and more troubling each night, fear started to take over. One brave person, driven by a borderline dangerous curiosity, tried to look into the problems that the company was having. This worker, whose name has been lost to history, went to a group of famous spirit seers in search of answers in a world full of doubt. Saturday was a normal day, and there was a strange silence in the group when the spirit questers started their investigation. They went into the heart of darkness with a variety of strange tools and old practices, ready to face the evil forces that were waiting there. They felt like they were in another world as they looked into the dark corners of the building. There was a heavy spectral energy in the air that made them feel like they were choking. After that, in the thick darkness, they saw her, the ghostly woman who would always be known as Michaela. Michaela told the spirit questers her sad story with a sad face and a voice that echoed with sadness. Once upon a time, she was a real woman, but now she was just a ghost, stuck on Earth because of unfinished business and unfulfilled wishes. Her husband had been taken away by cruel fate. He was a brave man who had dared to stand up to the forces of evil. The Japanese troops who used to live in the building took him away in the middle of the night and never came back. There was no sign of him, leaving Michaela to search the halls of eternity for his lost soul. So, the spirit questers dug deep into history to find the dark secrets that were hidden under layers of long-forgotten history. They found out that the building, which had been a busy business hub before, had been a secret base for the Japanese during the dark days of World War II. It was there that unspeakable crimes had been committed in the name of conquest and dominance. Because they felt they had to and because they wanted to help Michaela's spirit, the spirit questers set out on a dangerous trip into the heart of darkness. They were determined to find the truth and put to rest the souls of the dead. Because the building's past was so complicated, they quickly learned that they were not the only ones there. In the shadows, evil spirits that had been tortured and hopeless for hundreds of years hung out, their ghostly bodies writhing with hate as strong as 1,000 suns. As they walked, the air got colder and the darkness got darker, until they were standing on the edge of a huge pit that could swallow them whole. But they kept going because they felt obligated to and were determined to face the darkness inside. And in the end, it was their bravery and unwavering determination that helped them win. Their hearts were hurt, but their spirits were not broken, so, As dawn broke over the horizon and the first rays of sunlight broke through the darkness, the trading company stood still and quiet again. The evil forces that had been controlling its rooms were gone. But even though the ghosts were sent away, their memory would live on as a warning of the terrible things that lived in the dark and were waiting to catch people who weren't paying attention. They would also know that some puzzles were better left unsolved and some secrets were better left buried deep in the earth when they went back to their normal lives. In the days that followed, the employees were always on edge because they could not shake the memory of the horrible things that had happened inside the trading business. Even though they tried hard to forget about the past and move on, the ghost of something mysterious kept following them around and watching everything they did. As people went about their daily lives, the trading company's once familiar surroundings seemed tainted. It seemed like every nook held unseen horrors and whispered secrets. There was a heavy feeling in the air, like the walls were closing in on them and making it hard to breathe. The fears came back stronger and scarier than ever, just when they thought they were safe from the supernatural. Each night brought a barrage of twisted visions and evil whispers that promised to drive them to the edge of madness, making sleep hard to come by. However, they were having more than just bad dreams. Strange things started to happen again, as if the trading company's ghosts had come back to get revenge on those who had tried to make them leave. It seemed like files and important papers just disappeared, and equipment kept breaking down at an alarming rate, causing chaos and confusion in their wake. As the workers tried to figure out what was going on around them, a feeling of dread spread like a shroud over the trading company. The halls, which used to be full of people, were now empty and quiet. Then, just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, a darkness fell on the trading company, swallowing it whole and putting it in a horrible world they couldn't even describe. Shadows moved along the walls, twisting and turning into horrifying forms. In the empty hallways, whispers could be heard, their words filled with hate and malice. The workers were stuck again in the middle of all the chaos, and their screams were drowned out by the evil laughter of forces they couldn't see who were enjoying their pain. As they prayed desperately to get away from the darkness that was trying to swallow them whole, their prayers went ignored, but as the hours went by, hope began to fade. Then, in the distance, a glimmer of light emerged, a beacon of hope in the midst of a sea of despair. Even though their hands were shaking and their hearts were racing with fear, the workers stuck together, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead. The darkness went away just as quickly as it had come, leaving behind a heavy feeling of loss and nothingness. As the workers came out of the trading company's once haunted rooms, they knew that the horrible things they had seen would change them forever. The nightmares they had been having for so long had left scars on their minds. When they came out into the light, though, they couldn't help but wonder, had they really gotten away from the supernatural, or were they just pawns in a bigger game that would eventually lead them back into the darkness? The trading company stood still and quiet, its secrets buried deep in its haunted rooms, waiting for the next person who wasn't paying attention to find them. Only time would tell. The trading company's once bustling halls became more and more empty as the weeks turned into months. One by one, employees quit because they couldn't handle the weight of the company's dark past and the heavy environment that seemed to envelop the entire place. People who stayed were bothered by the ghosts of the building and their own deteriorating mental health. Things that were not normal kept happening, and they got scarier every day. The atmosphere in the company became heavy with fear, and what had been a normal place turned into a nightmare-like maze. Employees said they saw ghostly figures walking the hallways, their eyes burning with a strange anger. It looked like shadows were moving on their own, coming together to form bizarre shapes that were just out of sight. But the company was having problems with more than just ghosts. There were rumors that there was something evil living deep inside the building that fed on the fear and pain of those who were unlucky enough to cross its path. As things got worse, the surviving workers were affected by a string of horrifying accidents, each worse than the last. Screams of fear could be heard coming from the faces of bodies that had been bent and broken. Some people talked about evil plots and hands reaching out from the darkness to grab their victims. The remaining employees got together to find out the truth about the trading company's scary past. They were desperate to get away from the nightmare that had taken over their lives. In the darkest parts of the building, with only their weakening determination to keep going, they found secrets that should have stayed hidden. As they dug deeper, though, they found themselves deeper in a web of lies and betrayal. Soon, it was clear that the trading company wasn't just haunted by ghosts, it was also haunted by something much scarier, something that wanted their souls. They thought they had found the darkest secrets inside the company, but then they made a shocking find that sent chills down their spines. There was an empty room deep below the building's foundations. Its walls were covered with old symbols of unimaginable strength. They were filled with fear as they walked toward the room, as if they were standing on the edge of loss. Then, out of the blue, the door to the room shut behind them, trapping them in a darkness that was so thick it seemed to swallow them whole. The remaining workers had nowhere to go or hide, so they were at the mercy of the evil force that was hiding inside. As their screams rang through the empty halls, no one outside could hear them. They were facing something worse than death. As the trading company stood still and quiet again, its haunted halls bearing witness to the terrible events that had happened inside, the whispers of the dead got louder, a chilling warning of the evil that still lurked there, ready to take its next victim. The trading company would always be a place of nightmares for anyone who tried to walk through its dark hallways. It was a reminder of how foolish it is to mess with forces that are beyond our understanding. As time went on, people didn't realize the horrible things that were going on below the surface of the world. The trading company stayed a dark and twisted reminder of the evil that lives in all of us. However, deep within its haunted halls, the spirits of the lost souls who had once lived there may have found some strange comfort in knowing that they were no longer alone. They had claimed the souls of those who dared to defy them, and they would forever be joined in the darkness that went beyond the limits of time. If this video left you spellbound, dive deeper into the world of chilling tales by joining our channel, Eerie Encounters and Hauntings. Access a treasure trove of bone-chilling stories waiting for you with new episodes 2 times a week. Spread the fear among your friends and family who crave a good scare and give them goosebumps. We'd love to hear your spine-tingling experiences as well, so don't hesitate to share them in the comments. You can also send us your story so we can feature it in one of our future episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay scared. Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. The stories depicted in this video are shared by people who believe they are true, but they have not been verified. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the people who shared the stories and do not necessarily reflect the views of YouTube, Google, or Facebook. The channel does not endorse the views expressed in this video. This video is not intended to be used as evidence of any supernatural or paranormal activity. If you are experiencing paranormal activity, please contact a qualified professional.